Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay. I just wanted to talk a little bit about last night's Monday Night Raw and how spectacular it was to finally, as a Sasha Banks fan, being a Sasha Banks fan since her NXT days back in the early in 2015, 2016 when she finally came to the main roster and making that video about her and about Bailey back when they were baby faces and they were called Boss and Hug Connection, and how I talked about how I took my child to the NXT um, takeover that they had way back in the day. How finally Sasha Banks, the boss, the blueprint, the golden role model of WWE, is finally getting her opportunity, her chance. She's finally shining like I feel that she should. Not only her, but Bailey as well. Bailey is your SmackDown Women's Champion. Sasha is your SmackDown Raw Women's Champion. And they are both collectively uh, the Women's Tag Team Champions. Right now, WWE is struggling because there is no audience. It's mostly done in a performance center, even though there's rumors that it will be done. SummerSlam will be taking place on a boat. That's just rumors right now. There's no confirmation that SummerSlam will be taking place on a boat, but it may be. So anyway, last night on Raw, I tuned in for the first time ever. For the first time, not ever, but in a long while, I tuned in to watch Monday Night Raw because they had me intrigued. I watched the Extreme Rules horror show and I freaking loved it, guys, when Sasha went over. But as you know, it wasn't an official win. Bailey came in as the referee and screwed Asuka. So the following night on Raw, last week, Stephanie McMahon comes out and she says that this time, if Bailey gets involved, Sasha be disqualified and the title could change hands on a count out or a disqualification. Now, this isn't the first time that WWE has done this. They've probably done it a bunch of times, but one time that sticks out to me that I remember from when I was a little kid was on Raw. They did this. It was the Steiner brothers versus the Quebecers under Quebec rules, and the Steiner brothers lost as a result of a disqualification. So anyway, the title was basically vacated and it was up for grabs. And Sasha Banks um, fought against Asuka. Now, this match was incredible. The rest of Raw, eh. Randy Orton came out, cut a promo. Nia Jax came out and beat up Shayna Baszler. This completely destroyed Shayna Baszler. But what I'm here to talk about is when my girl, the blueprint, Sasha Banks, won the Raw Women's Championship. Anyway, I'm getting off track. But basically, without telling you guys the finish, Oscar's about to do the Oscar lock. And then on a Titantron appears Bailey beating up Kyrie Sane. Oscar becomes so distracted that she walks out of the ring and Sasha wins by a countout. So people online are so pissed off. Again, just like there was at Extreme Rules horror show. That's the way Sasha won. Oh, I can't believe she won that way. She won in a bullshit way, just like they did at Extreme Rules. But you know what? It's official now. Sasha Banks is your Raw Women's Champion, and Bailey is your SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, come Friday, Bailey has to defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against Nikki Cross because Nikki Cross defeated Alexa Bliss in a qualifying match. So this coming this coming Friday on Raw. On SmackDown rather. The main event will be your role model Bailey against the goddess Alexa Bliss, and of course Bailey will win because the Golden Role Models are the best women's tag team in the WWE, and they're the best tag team in the WWE. Now, in the men's division, um, I do kind of like Andrade and Garza, but I don't know where they're really going with this whole Andrade and Garza shit. Of like, because Zelina Vega is the manager of Andrade and the manager of Garza. She was the manager of Andrade before he had Angel Garza as his partner. But I mean, I mean, what are they gonna start a feud over freaking Charlie Caruso, the announcer? Because anyway, Andrade and Garza won the opportunity to take on the Street Profits at SummerSlam for the men's tag team titles, which I don't really have a problem with because this picks up a storyline that they had from WrestleMania when Selena Vega jumped in and then Bianca Belair jumped in, and I think it should end in a mixed three-way. Bianca Belair teaming with her boyfriend Montez Ford and D'Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, against Selena Vega and Garza and Andrade. I still think Andrade is going to get that mega push just because of who he's associated with in real life. In real life, of course, we know he dates Charlotte Flair, and in terms of WWE superstars, besides Roman Reigns and besides John Cena, who's a part timer, Brock Lesnar, who's a part timer, um, there's like four biggest stars in WWE, and Charlotte Flair is one of them. Like they have the biggest pool, biggest juice, if you will, in in WWE, and Charlotte Flair is one of them. So that Andrade goes out with Charlotte Flair, I think Andrade gonna get that mega push. And um, from what I hear in the back, Vince McMahon is very high too on Angel Garza. He thinks that maybe Angel Garza could be the next Eddie Guerrero. Which means that maybe both Andrade and Angel Garza will be moved to SmackDown because before in the 2000s, um, Angel Garza, excuse me, WWE had a lot of success with Hispanic stars like Rey Mysterio, like Eddie Guerrero, and stuff on SmackDown when it was on regular TV. They were really pulling in that Hispanic demographic. That's why Eddie Guerrero became WWE champion. Rey Mysterio became World Heavyweight champion around that time because they wanted to draw in a lot of the Hispanics. And they, by putting a lot of spotlight on Andrade and Angel Garza and even Medlink and Lucha House Party, they pull in a lot of the Hispanic demographics. Um, in terms of other things that are going on, storyline wise, the main event storyline, which I didn't really watch after Sasha and Asuka, I went to bed. Because Drew McIntyre, again, I said this at the Royal Rumble and I'll continue to say this. Guys, I don't like Drew McIntyre's run. I think Drew McIntyre's run is complete bullshit. You know. Um, yeah, Drew McIntyre to me is not somebody that I enjoy his work. I know he was in the WWE years ago. He left, went to the Indies, got over, went back to NXT and got over again. But like I said, even when he won the Royal Rumble, I was like, Drew McIntyre, why? Why not give Edge the nod? Edge had an amazing comeback. In hindsight, maybe it was good that they didn't give Edge the nod because he ended up tearing his tricep in that match with Randy Orton. So in hindsight, maybe it wasn't good that they give him the the Royal Rumble win and the win against Lesnar at WrestleMania. But yeah, I didn't stay up for the man's main event. And with the Nia Jax thing, I don't know. I never really liked Nia Jax. I'm sorry, guys. Again, I don't. I mean, she gave Shayna Baszler the hell of a beatdown, shoved her into the windows and everything. But like when I see Shayna Baszler, I can't help but think this is supposed to be Ronda Rousey's spot, but Ronda Rousey left the WWE. So like they put her bestie in her role. Like, cause remember went back a couple of like months ago when Ronda Rousey was on that podcast and she called wrestling fake, and then Nia Jax came out and started saying, "Well, I'll whoop your ass." So this is what it seems like. Like now, this is Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. Nia Jax to me is just garbage, and was only there because of her family name. She related to The Rock, to Yokozuna, to the Head Shrinkers, and she's just garbage, guys. I never got the appeal of her. You know what I'm saying? So no, I mean, yes, she gave Shayna Baszler the beatdown, but let's be real. Shayna Baszler is an MMA star, an MMA fighter, not an MMA star, but an MMA fighter. And if shit was real, Shayna Baszler would lay out Nia Jax. I know Nia Jax has amazing size and she's big and stuff, but come on. All Shayna Baszler had to do was get her down, and then she putting on them submission holds on her, and boom, she's done. You know what I mean? So there's that. And then the thing with Randy Orton, it's like, okay, Randy Orton is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I remember when he started in 2002. I remember when he started with Evolution. Uh, when Evolution started, like, was it late 2003, late '03 or late '04, around that time. And I followed his career ever since. Legacy back in the day in 2009, the two Royal Rumbles he won, the feuds with Bray Wyatt, the amazing feuds with Bray Wyatt, rated RKO that he had, like, was basically, um, he basically destroyed DX. In 2006, DX never really came back ever again really strong like that. They had a couple of reunions here and there, but they never really came back as strong as they did um when after Randy Orton and Edge beat them, and they had feuds with Roddy Piper and Ric Flair. You know what I mean? In 2006. So I think, of course, Randy got the best finisher of all time, the RKO. How many people How many other finishes can you say that you just slap on your brother and your sister when you're in the living room wrestling? You put the RKO on him and boom, never saw it coming, out of nowhere, the RKO, boom. So Randy Orton is a legend, man. You know what I mean? He's had amazing matches over the years. Mick Foley, back in the day, like his early days, amazing performer, amazing talent. But again, I don't like Drew McIntyre, so I'm not going to pay that much attention to the WWE Championship match at SummerSlam. Um, with Seth Rollins, I like where Seth Rollins' character is going. I'm a little bit confused because here's the thing with me, guys. I don't like. I follow professional wrestling. I follow the WWE, AEW, but I drop out. Like I watch heavily around WrestleMania, so I get a gist of the storylines. But I drop out around like after WrestleMania, and then I pick up again around the summertime. So I know that COVID has prevented a lot of performers from coming back, but I'm a little bit confused about what happened to ALP. I know when I last dropped off from watching, Buddy Murphy was in Seth's faction, and Arkham and Razor were in Seth's faction. But I think Arkham and Razor kind of retired. You know what I mean? Let me know, you guys, if you know anything about that. You know what I mean? Like, but I like Seth Rollins' new gimmick, the whole cult leader stuff and looking like Jesus and shit. You know what I mean? Like Well, I knew about Monday Night Messiah, but um, I like it. It reminds me of Raven in the '90s and Jake Roberts in the '80s, especially when he said to Buddy Murphy, he was like, "Trust me, trust me." Reminded me of the time that this the wrestling that I love, the days of Jake the Snake Roberts and Ultimate Warrior. When Jake the Snake Roberts tricked the Ultimate Warrior, and him and Ultimate Warrior, and Jake Roberts and the Undertaker buried the Ultimate Warrior, and the Ultimate Warrior grabbed the mic and said, "Never trust the snake." And so that kind of that kind of reminded me of that gimmick, the cult leader, Charles Manson type gimmick. It's cool. I like that from Seth. I didn't like him as a babyface. Like with Alexa Bliss, I don't really like Alexa Bliss either. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was my thoughts on Raw. It was a average Raw from the PC, post COVID Raw. I give it 4 out of 5. But golden role models, Sasha Banks and Bailey. And Sasha Banks is finally your Raw Women's Champion. Peace.